Kenneth Walker III was my favorite running back coming into the 2022 NFL Draft. And for a while, he was even my Heisman favorite until a couple of rough games kind of took him out of contention. So let's look at the tape and see why that pick was actually a good one for Seattle. Because at the time, I thought it was a pretty marginal pick. They already had running backs, they had talent there, so why would they draft in that same room? Well, now with Chris Carson's unfortunate retirement due to injury, we kind of see a little bit as to why this was such a good pick. So let's look at the tape and see what exactly it is that makes Kenneth Walker worth being a running back 1, and why he will be fighting very hard with Rashaad Penny for the running back 1 carries that Seattle has to offer. Let's get into it. What's up, guys? I'm Tyler Coker, and I'm your host for today's episode of Today with Tyler. I hope you enjoy. First, let's take a look at what made him a viable option as Seattle's running back 1. His skill set is perfectly matched to be a great zone running back, which all starts with his agility. He can make incredible cuts with seemingly no effort, finding holes in the defense to exploit. He uses that agility to make plays out of nothing as well, which is going to be crucial considering the state of Seattle's offensive line aside from Charles Cross. And he has the speed to make these cuts actually effective. Even though Walker is more of a prototypical zone running back, he still has the power and fight in him to run between the tackles and even run some gap scheme plays, which is a rare combination to have in a running back. The power comes from a lot of lower body strength, which is also seen as pass protection, a crucial facet to a running back's game if they want to be able to stay on the field on third down, and Walker has absolutely earned that right. And Walker wouldn't be limited to blocking on third down either. He's an effective ball carrier, and so targeting in the passing game just puts the ball in his hands one more time. While he won't be running as many defined routes or splitting wide often, he's deadly if they forget about him in the flat, which is great for a true running back like he is. Perhaps the most underrated part of his game, and the aspect of Walker that made me fall in love with him, is his competitiveness. Walker never stops moving his legs, and even has a second gear when he reaches open space. If I had to describe him in one term, I would call him a fighter, since he's hungry for every yard he gets, and there's never an easy tackle, especially evident against Michigan. He has a competitive spirit Seattle will need this year, and always carries with him a great big play ability, and you never know which carry will be taken all the way to the house. If you give him too big of a gap or line up in line personnel, Walker will shred you and he'll take you to the end zone. This ability will open the passing game for either Geno Smith or Drew Lock, which is an MVP caliber contribution to one's team, and he's only a rookie. Now really quickly, let's run through some stats to see exactly what we're going to look for in Kenneth Walker's rookie year. Chris Carson is gone, which leaves a big gap for either Walker, Rashaad Penny, DJ Dallas, or Travis Homer to fill a big gap. And let's be honest, the last two aren't really coming for that role. Plus, Seattle ran the ball 43.29% of the time last year. That was with Russell Wilson. So when you add that to the fact that they lost their MVP caliber quarterback in Russell Wilson, you're going to see a lot more rushes than there already were, and they were already 13th in the NFL. Then when you consider that they were an effective running team, even with their bad offensive line, that adds even more promise, because a 5.0 rush yards per attempt is a great stat, especially when you rush it all the time and you're the third best team in the NFL at doing so. And then you consider that they got some extra line help and they did get a good left tackle with Charles Cross, who I might even analyze later on, and they're going to be doing a lot of effective rushes. And then an added bonus to look at the fantasy side is to know that they were 10th in the NFL in rushing touchdowns with Russell Wilson at the helm. So when you take out Russell Wilson and add even more rushing attempts, you're going to see even more touchdowns coming to those running backs. And Kenneth Walker has that power to be able to be a goal line running back. And it's not like they have someone who's that clear role anyway. And he's a steal as well. The number 34 running back consensus in fantasy for PPR leagues, of course. I think he has way more upside than 34 would ever allow. And so to me, he is a low value, high reward, low risk kind of pick. where you're going to get either a running back 1 or a solid option in case your running back 2 has a bye or something like that. So fantasy-wise and realistically, he's looking to get a lot of opportunities to be able to prove that he really is a running back 1. And so we're going to see the best of Kenneth Walker this year, and he might even be set up to have the best rookie year out of the entire class. I think he's going to be great. I've always been a big fan of him, but, when he went to the Seahawks, I was a little bit scared because Chris Carson, Rashaad Penny are kind of the main workhorses. But now that Chris Carson's out of the picture, unfortunately, we do have the opportunity to see a lot more Kenneth Walker, which is going to be great for us because he's a surprisingly effective player and he's also an exciting player. His big plays are always good, and he likes to get excited for his team, and he wants his team to win. So, Seattle fans, you have a little bit of optimism this year. Not only should your defense be getting better, but your offense is going to have a really good running game. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed.